What's going on, guys? Matt here. So today we are looking at this big guy, the Esee Junglas. We're going to get into what I like about the knife, what I dislike, and something unique about the Esee Junglas. We'll do some size comparisons and we'll do some specs before that. But real quick, want to remind you to like and subscribe. Just past 1,500 subscribers, so that's really cool. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for doing that. But let's get into the Esee Junglas. Big beef of a knife, as you can see. So let's do some size comparisons just so you can kind of get an idea of how big this knife is. I'm trying to keep this whole thing in frame. So let's compare it to its little brother, another popular Esee, SE6. So handle is actually a decent amount larger on this blade. A lot of times on full-size knives, like big choppers like this, your handle's about the same. But as you can see, handle's a good bit smaller on this. So 6.5-inch blade, about a 10.5-inch blade. So let's compare it to another bigger knife, kind of its cousin, you could say, in the Ontario family, because Ontario still does make rat designs. This is the SP5 survival Bowie, as they call it. I used this on my moto camping through the Blue Ridge Parkway trip. This is a great blade. As you can see, it's a little rusted. This is a tool to me. It was inexpensive. Yeah, so very well used, as you can see. But yeah, similar size, a little bit smaller on the survival Bowie right there, but about the same size. And as you can see, look how much real estate you have in this handle. It's just, there's a lot, like I said, most big style chopping knives, their handles are about the same as a full size, camping survival type knife. Let's do one more size comparison. Knife I just got yesterday, and it might be my favorite fixed blade ever made. This is the Lion Steel T6. And man, look at those. Sorry for those glares. This blade is incredible, guys. I'll do a video on this, obviously. This might be the perfect fixed blade knife. This is less popular than I think their T5 and their M7. But in my opinion, this is, I haven't held either of those, but this is a superior design. Anyway, so this is about a 6-inch blade. Wide, but yeah, so that's so you can get an idea on that. Do we have any more? No, we'll stop right there. Okay, so the Esee Junglas. Let's talk about the specs on this big blade. We're looking at a 10.375-inch overall blade. It's about a 9.5-inch cutting edge, 16.5 overall, so that leaves a 6.175-inch handle. So big, quite large handle. There's a lot of real estate on there. The blade is 0.7 millimeters thick, 0.7 inches thick, a little under 3/16 of an inch, and that's at its thickest points. As you can see, it goes to a sharper point right there. It's 1095 steel, obviously. It weighs about 24.21 ounces. Comes with a really great Kydex sheath. We'll talk about that and what I like. It has a unfinished micarta handle that is canvas micarta, not linen micarta, as you can see. And if you want to pick one up, they range from about $180 to $220. Usually you see them around the $200 mark, though. So, what do I like about it? I'll just mention real quick, Esee, it's an Esee, right? It has all the positives that an Esee has. So, the warranty, the fit and finish, it's all there with this Junglas. So, we'll move on from that point. I've mentioned that in the other ones. I just want to get it out of the way. Esee just has a lot of positives as a company right off the bat. So it has all the positives that an Esee has. What I love is this big blade. This is a really nice, large drop point style blade. Kind of reminds me of a full flat ground Bowie knife without a clip right there. Just a really big, long blade that works great for chopping. It really has the length to span a log. If you're wanting to baton, just like a big blade. I love big blades. I always have. No, I don't carry them as often as, something like the SE6 when I'm camping or hiking or anything. But I just do like a large blade. And this has a nice long drop point blade. I also really appreciate this handle. Guys, this handle is awesome. I've mentioned it has a lot of real estate on it. You guys know I have really thick, fat hands. I have plenty of room on this thing, right? So if I need to go back here, do some chopping, come up here to do something a little bit more fine. Not that you'd want to do anything fine with this big of a blade, but still, you just have that real estate and everything's contoured really nicely. Have that nice lip to where you're not, you're not, a bunch of pressure isn't on your pinky. You just have so much room to move around. So I love this handle. I think it's fantastic. This is how a big chopper handle should be, in my opinion. Another thing I really appreciate is I like this hammer pommel on here. Let's compare it to the SE6 real quick. So this has kind of a hammer pommel right there too. For some reason though, I mean, you have a flat right there, but it's kind of angled. I just prefer this. I think it's cooler. It has a very dedicated flat. And I think if you did want to hammer something, crack open a nut, or, just crush something, tent steak or whatever, again, I would rather use the flat of the blade to do that. I think it's going to work out great. So I really like that hammer pommel. I prefer it to that skull crusher of the SE5. It's just a preference, and I think it's more utilitarian. Another thing I really love is the sheath on this. Guys, Esee's Kydex is just fantastic. So first of all, you have this kind of molly backing, which didn't come on the SE5, but this is great, especially because you're probably not going to want to carry this thing on your belt that often. You might lash it to your pack if you're hiking, something like that. But it just locks in perfectly. There's a little bit of rattle. That's okay. It's a big knife. I'm not terribly worried about that. Again, you have this retention screw, which looks like it's screwed pretty tight, but it's retaining great in there. It doesn't really need it. You can lash that open, or closed rather, if you want to. Just fantastic fit and finish on this sheath. Plenty of modularity. Esee just does their Kydex sheaths beautifully. So I love the Kydex sheath. I love that they didn't go with just a plastic one like the SE6. This is not a cheap blade, so they're kind of giving you, even though you're just getting $10.95, you're getting good fit and finish and good materials when it comes to the sheath. So, you kind of had things that make up for the price, I think. So, all right, let's talk about what I don't like. Just sharpen down to the stupid sharpening choil, guys. Come on. You're killing me with this. This is not as bad as the SE5. I don't have the SE5 anymore. I traded it off. But it's still just go that 1 extra millimeter. This kind of stuff just drives me crazy. Let me compare it to you real quick on the Lion Steel T6. Lion Steel T6 has a very dedicated sharpening choil. That is not a finger choil. Now that sharpening choil is kind of large, but look, it's sharpened all the way to it, which is how, as God intended, as I like to say. This is just not sharpened to the choil. And people are like, well, it gives you the opportunity to put your finger there. Again, just make a dedicated finger choil if you want. On a blade like this, I could totally see cutting that out a little bit, having a nice finger choil for fine stuff. Sorry, I hit the camera. For fine carving stuff, because this blade is pretty lightweight for how large it is. And you could do feather sticking if you wanted to with this thing. Just make a finger choil or don't. Stop kind of half-heartedly doing these things with blades. It drives me crazy. Okay. Another thing I don't like is it's a bit thin for a large chopper. It's still 0.17 inches, so it's not terribly thin. It's not like Machete thin. But it is a bit thin, especially at the tip. That's kind of a fine tip for a large chopper. Let's compare it real quick to the Ontario SP5. This is 5 millimeters. And it's black, so it's hard to see against the new background. But you just have more meat up there. It just provides you a bit more security. And it's clipped, so it's kind of strengthened as well. So blade's just a tiny bit thin. I would have preferred 5 millimeters. Might have added a couple ounces, but I think it would have given me a little bit more security with this blade. Oh, I'm hitting stuff all over the place today. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, and another thing is, it is a bit expensive. Do I think it's crazy outrageous? No, I don't think it's crazy outrageous at all. It's a big chopper. You're getting a lot of material and you're getting it done well. So is it too expensive? No, but it is a bit expensive. You guys who have kind of bought into the Esee brand, which at this point I have as well, have kind of been able to, work through in your heads that, it's worth it for these 1095 blades. And I think it is, because I think you're getting a lot of quality, even though the price is a little bit high for the materials used. So I do think it is a bit expensive. So what is unique about the blade? So I think that this is really cool that it's kind of a blend between a machete and a chopper. Now, a lot of people would say this is too thick to be a machete. Yeah, it's a bit thick to be a machete, but guys, 24.2 ounces for a blade this this big, that's really not bad. That's quite lightweight, and it does move like a chopper, but it has this lightweight feeling that you could use it kind of like a machete. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember them kind of designing this blade to be a blend of the two. It's a chopper, yes, but it also has the capabilities of a machete as well. You can swing this all day long, and you're really not going to tire yourself out like a huge 1/4 inch thick blade. So while I do think it should have been heavier to kind of lean into the chopper, there is a positive aspect to it. Can be used as a machete as well, which I think is pretty cool. So, you know, if you wanted to have a blade that kind of works as both, you need to get through some thick brush, and you also want to, you know, use it as a chopper, kind of like an axe-like device. I think it works in both aspects. So I think it's just very versatile, very utilitarian, has kind of many options for you. So would I recommend this thing? Absolutely. If you're okay with spending a couple $100 for a blade in 1095, you know, you have blades like the SP5. Again, fit and finish isn't as great. If I showed you, I'm using this leather sheath for it, but if I showed you the stock sheath, it's not nearly as nice. This goes for like $50. And you can probably get a sheath for $50, so you're spending about $100, but you don't have the warranty like Esee does, and this is even more lightweight, probably be even a little bit better as a machete. But you know, Ontario has some big choppers in 1090 or 1075 nowadays, for a lot cheaper, a 1/4 of the price in some cases. So if you're okay with that price, you know, you are getting that fantastic warranty. If it ever does break, you know, they're gonna send you a new one. So you're getting that fantastic warranty, and if you're okay with spending a couple $100 for this blade, I think it's a fantastic choice for a large chopper slash, you know, kind of can be used as a machete type blade. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.